The movie starts in the near future where the air is so polluted that everyone has to wear masks outside, and all houses need filters. Ethera, a company, makes a medicine called AI Remedy that lets people breathe without a mask for 6 hours. But it's very expensive and only the rich can afford it. In a dark lab, Solomon records a video, saying Ethera will eventually limit the AI Remedy, making people desperate. He plans to start a new trial. Even though increasing his compound's dosage might kill people, he believes it's necessary to save humanity. He then gets an alert that the last safe area in the world has become polluted, meaning in 18 months, 83% of people will be at risk of deadly toxins. Solomon's friend Spider notices their lab is being watched. To protect their research, she suggests coloring the compound with the latest trend, a party drink called Blue. If the police catch them, they'll think they're just drug dealers, and the compound won't be tested. Meanwhile, Ella works as a model for Ethera, promoting their products. Her mother used to be a model too, but she took her own life, and Ella has been continuing her legacy. Other models resent her for being seen as a nepo baby. Ella keeps her breathing medicine in her mother's locket. During a work break, Ella gets a message from her boyfriend Tully, canceling their date because he's busy. When she overhears other models talking behind her back, Ella texts her best friend Gina to hang out. However, Gina is with Tully, as they are secretly having an affair. Tully wants to tell Ella the truth, but Gina tells him to wait because it's the anniversary of Ella's mother's death. Tully then drives to a shady neighborhood to buy party drugs while Gina stays in the car. Ella calls Gina to complain about Tully, but Gina invites her to a party, though Ella isn't in the mood. After hanging up, Ella listens to a hobo at the station say that the toxic air is a punishment from God for what humans did to the planet. Meanwhile, Tully surprises the dealer with his visit. Nobody is supposed to know where he lives, but Tully used a tracking app. While waiting for the dealer to get his package ready, Tully watches an interview on TV. Head of Ethera Research, Eric, is taking questions from callers, and at first they're normal people. But soon a distorted voice calling itself Lazarus begins questioning the origins of AI Remedy and says the company won't be able to meet global demand. Eric gets uncomfortable and quickly ends the conversation. While the thugs are distracted, Tully sneaks around and finds the lab where Solomon and Spider are working on the compound, which is now blue. Tully watches Solomon take a tiny sample and instantly relax, so he assumes it's a new party-upper. After Spider puts the compound in the fridge, Tully carefully sneaks around again to steal it. Then he gets his package from the dealer and leaves as if nothing happened. After leaving the TV station, Eric gets a call from the company's CEO, who is also his father. The board isn't happy with the bad reputation the company is getting from the conspiracy theorists, so Eric needs to find a solution immediately if he doesn't want to lose his job. When he returns to the lab, he tries a new medicine on a rat, but the little guy dies after just a few minutes. Eric punches his tablet in anger before he's visited by his assistant Angela, who explains they tracked Lazarus' call to Luxembourg. Afterward, Eric gets a call from his son Max, who is contacting him in secret because his parents are divorced. Max shares that he gave some money to a poor man on the streets, and Eric scolds him for it, saying people are parasites. The call is interrupted by Eric's ex, who announces they're moving to another city. Eric gets worried about his kid living with the dangers of the red zone. In the evening, Ella goes home and keeps looking at a magazine cover of her mother with her baby self. She knows the industry likes her only because she looks like her mom. At that moment, she gets a call from her dad, who is stuck on another continent helping the poor, and Ella resents him for it. When he says she shouldn't be alone today, she hangs up on him. However, now she feels lonely, so she decides she'll go to the party after all. At the party, Gina and Tully hide in the bathroom to try the compound he stole. Before they can take it, they're found by Ella, who freaks out when she realizes they're together. An argument ensues and Tully accidentally drops the compound before he and Gina leave. Alone and depressed, Ella takes the compound and drinks it all. Then she goes to dance with Brian to make Tully jealous, but he doesn't care. Moments later, Brian is trying to get busy with a girl in the bathroom, when suddenly Ella runs in because she feels really sick. The other girl leaves while Brian gives Ella some water, only for her to puke on his shoes. She insults Brian to make him leave, then collapses on the floor. Seconds later, she gets a text from Gina asking if they can talk, but she ignores it and instead fills the tub with cold water to calm her body down, because it feels like it's burning. In the living room, Tully finally realizes he's lost the compound, and while he looks for it, he's found by Solomon and his thugs, who start chasing him through the house. They make it to the bathroom, so Ella hides underwater while the thugs punch Tully until he admits he lost the compound. After the group leaves to search the house, Ella resurfaces and tells Tully that she took the compound. Tully runs to tell Solomon, but when the group comes back, Ella is gone. They don't believe Tully when he says she was hiding in the tub because nobody can hold their breath for that long. Suddenly, Tully takes out a gun, and Spider tackles him to the ground, causing him to accidentally fire the weapon. Tully collapses from blood loss, and Solomon wraps his leg wound with a belt while the others go searching the house again. Spider yells that the cops are coming, so the partygoers run away. After Solomon and his group leave, Tully wakes up and discovers Ella hiding on the ceiling. She lands perfectly on the ground, and Tully notices weird spots on her arm, but she thinks it's just a reaction to the compound. Since Solomon locked the door when he left, Ella angrily punches it, surprising herself with the resulting hole. As she leaves the bathroom, she finds the thugs guarding the front door, so she goes back and breaks the bathroom skylight with her newfound strength. The noise gets the attention of the thugs, so Ella jumps toward another building. Tully tries doing the same, but his injury makes him slip. Ella reaches out and easily catches him because now her hand is very sticky. This is seen by Gina on the street, and she runs around the house to find them. Then the duo tries to escape, only for Tully to slip again and fall, and Ella jumps after him. By the time Gina arrives, she finds Tully dead and thinks Ella pushed him. While Gina calls the police, Ella starts running from the thugs again. She jumps over the fence and reaches the road, where she collapses right in front of Brian's car. He takes her away just before the police arrive. The mysterious person who has been following Solomon is watching all this and now knows about Ella. At Brian's apartment, he tries to get handsy with Ella while she's still unconscious. At that moment, she wakes up and punches him to get him off her. Brian says he's been cut, and Ella notices a claw on her elbow hiding under her skin. While Brian runs away in fear, Ella goes to the bathroom and notices she has more weird blotches on her body that won't go away when she washes. The claw comes out again, so she uses scissors to cut it off. Afterward, Ella rushes to the hospital and shows the weird colors on her face to get attention quickly. The nurse thinks she is sick and should be quarantined, so she calls security. Ella immediately starts running and hides inside a patient's room, using the stickiness of her hands to climb the wall and hide on the ceiling. She asks the patient to stay silent, and the girl doesn't say anything when the guard runs by. After he's gone, Ella gives the sick girl all the AI remedy she has. Meanwhile, Eric receives information about the whole situation with Tully's death, and Ella because he was the one who sent a person to follow them. Eventually, Ella finds Gina, who runs away as soon as she sees her. Ella runs after her and tackles her to the ground, trying to explain she needs help. Gina lets Ella into her apartment, and Ella looks at herself in the mirror to discover her skin is getting worse, not to mention her nails are coming loose. Next, she feels a great craving for meat, so she grabs a burger from Gina's fridge before taking her phone. Since the thugs have Tully's phone, Ella texts his number, asking them what they want. When the subject of the affair comes up, Gina and Ella start arguing again. Ella mentions that everything in her life was fake and that she had thought Gina was her only real friend, but she was wrong. In return, Gina mentions that Ella can behave like a brat sometimes and hurts people with her attitude. At that moment, Solomon calls, and Ella agrees to meet him later. Gina wants to call the police, but Ella stops her rather aggressively, and she realizes her friend is scared of her. In Luxembourg, Eric's men enter an abandoned room looking for Lazarus, but they only find the tablet they used to make the call. There's a message for Eric, mocking him because he doesn't have enough resources to keep making AI remedy and is afraid of competition. After hearing it, Eric calls his father to ask for a few weeks to finish a new formula since he wants some time to spend with his son before he moves away. However, his dad only gives him 3 days. Back to Ella, she's eating the meat raw while Gina tries tracking Tully's phone. Before leaving for the meeting, Ella tells her friend that after this is over, she never wants to see her again. Moments later, she meets with Solomon, who distracts her so Spider can surprise her from behind and kidnap her. Gina sees this from afar and, with the help of the phone tracker, follows them. Solomon and Spider take Ella to their home, which is seen by Eric's man. Inside, Ella is tied to a chair, but she manages to grow out another claw that breaks the bindings. There's some meat on the counter, so she immediately eats it all without cooking it. When Solomon and Spider appear at the door, Ella grabs a knife and spits acid at them, burning Spider's hand. At that moment, the police arrive and start pounding on the door, so Solomon gives Spider the last compound sample and tells her to run. Solomon then tries to convince Ella to trust him, but they're interrupted by the police bursting into the room to arrest Ella for assaulting Brian and killing Tully. Gina watches her best friend being taken away and does nothing because she doesn't know who to trust anymore. Later in prison, Ella touches her neck and notices the blotches reaching her ear, which suddenly falls off, allowing a weirdly shaped ear to grow out instead. Ella covers her head with her hood, while Solomon explains his goal is to find an alternative to AI Remedy that can provide for everyone, regardless of social status. The conversation is interrupted by the arrival of Eric, who reveals Solomon used to work for Ethera. He takes a close look at Ella's changes and pays to release both her and Solomon from jail. He takes the duo away in his car, and they're seen by Spider, who follows them. Moments later, at Ethera's research facility, Eric gives Ella a sedative so he can run some tests. Her DNA appears to be mutated, meaning she isn't human anymore. Eric then goes to the basement, where one of his men is torturing Solomon. After reading all the crimes Solomon could go to jail for, Eric asks him to work for the company again. But Solomon refuses because he wants the medicine to go to everyone, regardless of class. Eric disagrees, pointing out that it was humans who destroyed the environment in the first place, so he should get to choose who survives. When Ella wakes up, her face is half mutated too. Eric tells her that her transformation means she can breathe the polluted air, and that her body is producing an enzyme that could be used to make more AI Remedy. He starts manipulating her, saying that he tried to contact her father, but they didn't find him, and that Solomon isn't cooperating because he doesn't want to share the credit. If she lets him run more tests to find the formula, he promises to make her normal again when they're done. Ella believes him, so she signs the paper before she's sedated again. The next time Ella wakes up, her new ears let her hear Eric talk to his dad, even though he's outside the room behind a very thick glass. She learns that Eric won't run simple tests. He actually wants to extract the enzyme through a procedure that will most likely kill her. Her father has also filed a missing person report, but Eric is bribing the police. A furious Ella begins pounding on the glass, so Eric releases gas into her room to put her to sleep again. Sometime later, Spider arrives at the facility in a stolen company van, pretending she's bringing stock delivery. Since the security guard is busy playing video games, the guy at the gate lets her pass. Meanwhile, two doctors go to Ella's room to get her ready for the procedure, only to notice her bindings are broken. Suddenly, Ella reveals she's awake and starts hitting the doctors until they tell her where they're keeping Solomon. The security guard finally sees what's happening and activates the alarm. So Ella drags a doctor to the door and uses his fingerprint to unlock it to escape. Soon, she reaches the basement but hears a guard coming, so she hides on the ceiling again. When the man is close enough, Ella spits acid on his face before knocking him down. Then, she goes looking for Solomon, who explains he wants the formula to be free for everyone. He calls Ella's mutations just side effects, so she furiously pushes him against the wall as she wonders how this can be better than the masks. In the meantime, Eric goes to his private airport to pick up Max, who is already upset because his father is late. When they arrive at the facility, Eric hears that Ella escaped, so he leaves Max with Angela before joining the search teams. Refusing to play babysitter, Angela leaves Max in Eric's office where he finds Ella's locket. The guards are making their way into the tunnel, so Solomon shows Ella the vents. She climbs in with her sticky hands and brings Solomon up using her super strength, managing to escape before the guards can see him. At the same time, Spider installs some bombs and sends the company a message warning them about an explosion happening in 9 minutes. Angela tells Eric they should evacuate, but he thinks the bomb isn't real and that the message is only trying to distract them. After sneaking through a tunnel, Solomon and Ella make it to the lab. Using a hologram, he explains that the main ingredient in AI Remedy is extracted from a particular dragonfly found only in Africa. They're the only species unaffected by the bad air, and Ella is now becoming one. This dragonfly has gone extinct because of Ethera's production, and synthetic ingredients don't work. That's why Eric wants to harvest Ella. Solomon has been working with Lazarus to perfect the formula by mixing it with other animals' DNA, and they plan to distribute it worldwide. At that moment, one of the bombs goes off, so Ella and Solomon begin running again. When they hear someone coming, Solomon tackles the person to the ground, only to discover it's Spider. Suddenly, gas starts filling up the basement. so the group rushes upstairs and hides in the bathroom. Ella finds Max hiding from a bomb. He calls her a fairy, so she pretends and gives him her hand. Max feels better and gives her a locket. The group keeps running until Eric blocks their way with a gun. Solomon and Spider escape, but Ella uses Max as a shield and says she'll hurt him with her powers if Eric doesn't back off. Eric shoots anyway, but Ella dodges the bullet. She lets go of Max, and he distracts Eric while Ella jumps from floor to floor. She meets Solomon and Spider in the elevator, and they rush to the garage to escape in a van. The guards shoot at the van's wheels, causing it to crash, but when they check, only Spider is inside. Ella and Solomon run into the forest where Ella breaks a fence with her claws. The guards chase them, but Spider tricks one guard to escape. Ella and Solomon reach a bridge, and Solomon tells Ella to jump to escape. He shows her his mutated arm, saying he won't survive anyway. He gives her the last sample to find Lazarus. Ella gives him her locket and jumps into the river to get away. The guards soon arrive, and Eric says he will force Solomon to make another mutant. Later, Gina finds an envelope with the special earpiece she shared with Ella. That night, Spider hacks into a TV channel to warn the world to change or die. Meanwhile, Ella's mutations give her wings, and she finds Lazarus, who is revealed to be Angela. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.